Yeah, we're back. It's been a little while now. Has it been two and a half weeks? Probably. Back with Fact with Maaxx, episode 6. I have some interesting guests here today on the live stream. I'm gonna send them the links here so they know where to come. Let me see. Let me see. Copy link. There we go. There we go. Can Okay, that's there. So, there we go. There we go. Well, it's nice to be back. I've been traveling for a while. Oh, let's see here. There she is. There she is. Oh, hello. Okay, let's see here. There you are. Can you hear me?
Is that static on my end?
Oh, yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, I think.
Wait, I'm gonna come back in.
Yes. So it was a little project to get guests on here. But all good, right? Oh, wait, I gotta tap on the. Forgot. Excuse me, guys. Got the Instagram. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, hello, Instagram also. And per usual, I want to tell everybody on Instagram that if you want to see a full screen live stream, since I have guests on today, I would like to refer you to another platform. All other platforms show full view and Instagram crops it off. So Rumble, X, Facebook, Kick. Let's see, which one am I on more? YouTube. Any of these would work better. I highly suggest Rumble or X since they don't ban anything. And as well, you guys, if you're on Instagram and comment, I can't see them in the streaming service. So please go to any other platform because that way I can see you, I can hear you pretty much. I can drag your comments into the live stream, which is pretty cool. So another platform would work better. I've been out traveling for a little while, so I haven't been on the live stream. Rush. Okay, Megan is just having some computer issues, but she will come in soon. While we wait for her, hold on. I light my incense here. Incense, because yes. There we go. Blow it out too fast. I also have a new computer camera lens, which I'm super stoked about, and a new tripod. Let's just say that it costed me a leg and an arm pretty much, but it was totally worth it. It's probably the best tripod I've ever had, and maybe my favorite lens. I have one more that's probably between the two of them. I have currently a Nikon Z9. Used to have a Nikon D5, which was my little baby, truly. And I just sold it a little while ago to somebody I think will take care of him very well. So I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. I've been on the road. I've been to Cali. I've been to Atlantic City, and I've been to Las Vegas. And I'm back home at the MMA gym. And I'm so happy to be back. My skin was not very excited on this trip. The places I went were very cold, and I don't know why I got so darn dry. So I actually went to Atlantic City, and that's where it got the worst. My skin felt like it was gonna fall off my face, and then I don't know if you guys have heard all the stories about the aliens and stuff going on right now. Could definitely be a reason they're spraying a lot of stuff in the air over there at the moment in New Jersey. So maybe that was a reason. Let's see if it works now. There she is. Okay, sounds better.
Yes.
Okay, yes, so much better now. Beautiful. Well, I was having kind of a little bit of the same issue earlier today, so Joel was here and helping me with the sound. I'm just getting into like learning everything about audio. I'm a visual. I am know everything about video and photo, and I have not known anything about audio. So now I have, as you see, like a nice microphone and the best headphones, and I got my Rody little Rodecaster, and it's just so many new things to learn.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And
And
it's Mercury retrograde and Friday the 13th. So
yes, I have a.
that feels good.
I was telling somebody the other day, I have a 13 tattoo here on my arm, and I don't know why I got it. Because before, I don't even remember when I got it. I just had this epiphany and I went and got a 13 tattoo. And I don't even know why, because prior to that, it didn't have any significant meaning to me. And ever since I got it, that's been my favorite number. And I can't tell you, it was just like a like a download. Max, you need 13. And then I've learned a little bit about it and about it's supposed to be symbolize the divine feminine and so yeah, I'm glad I got it, but I didn't know back
Nice.
then why. But I'd like to introduce you properly. So, would you like to tell my audience who you are?
I'm Megan Crouch. I have the Wise Warrior coaching business. I do a little bit of coaching, but I do more quantum healing, Akashic record kind of stuff, and taking people like I can go into people's fields and clear energy and read whatever they need to know to clear things, and I can also take people through their own experience so that they can get to the root cause of patterns in their lives so they can clear it. I do meditations and just wherever the fields take me.
And she did one on me, and I think that was probably my first like yeah, I don't think I had done anything like that before. You were the first one. And it was great. And we didn't even know each other and I was sitting there in my car driving over here and crying and having goosebumps and it was wonderful. I'm gonna show you. I'm going to just screen share where people can find you. And I think this is the case that my guest can't actually see what I'm sharing, but I'm just gonna show people your website. So I'm screen sharing now. You guys can find her on wisewarriorcoaching.com. This is her website. And also her YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search Wise Warrior Coaching, you can find her right there. There is her beautiful face. And I believe so you said that you do live um readings on your YouTube?
I do meditations. I've done some oracle card readings. I've done some quantum clearings. I'm going to start doing more in the new year as I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do
Mhm.
and how I want to show up.
Yes. Actually, so you're the kind of person that helps people kind of find about themselves, but that's actually a good thing. I want to ask you. So you said, what do you want, or how do you want to show up? Do you have an idea yet, or are you trying to figure out how you want to renew yourself?
um, Kind of more saying, fuck the system, and I'm just gonna do me, and hopefully it's okay to say the F word.
You can
My
say
friend did
whatever
give
you want
me
on my live.
a for Christmas, so I'm allowed to use it.
Yes.
Um, so, just instead of like chasing after things and like how I should do things and, how like everybody else does it, it's like just every day, like, how do I want to show up? What do I want to do today? And serve in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
actually, another question. So if I have questions and I want to get help with energy or getting answers, I come to you, right? So what do you do when you need help? Where would you go, or would you do it on yourself?
Um, I do it sometimes on myself. I find it hard to, like, if I really need something, um I can get stuff for myself, but
Mhm.
I have a couple trusted friends that I do exchanges with when I need help.
Mhm.
I have my friend Kati, she lives in Finland. She's usually my go-to, especially like if I'm like in the middle of something. I also have my friend Stacy. She's um, psychic and stuff. So she and I were roommates and we're friends. So like a lot of times, like we'll be chatting and be like, "Hey, your energy feels weird. What's going on?" And just help each other through things. So
Yeah, you kind of need somebody. I have a little group of people now actually. You being one of them, of course. And I feel like someday I need to connect you all, but none of you know each other, but all of you are still saying the same things, right? It's very interesting. And I was on the phone with one of them yesterday, and at the same exact moment that we're talking about something, I get a text from another one saying the same thing we're just talking about. And it's very interesting. And you were actually the first one to talk to me about crystals. So as you see here, I have a one around my neck that Joel actually gave me today. And I've been on a little bit of a shopping spree. Actually, most of my crystals I've found in the mountains. Where did I put them? I was going to show some of the ones I found because I like the
New
ones I found
Mexico,
myself the
yeah,
best.
New Mexico is incredible for. I drove out to. We were in Abiquiu. Quite a few years ago, and thankfully we drove because I think I came back with about 100 pounds of crystals.
I
Like we'd
know.
be like they talk to you,
Yeah.
and I would just shove them into pockets. My friends were like laughing hysterically at me.
I went to the mountain. I can't even show. I should probably connect my phone so I can show it. In my window here, I have not even exaggerating, probably 30 of them. And I picked almost all of them on the same mountain trip. And I walked and all my pockets were almost like pulling my pants off. And then I had the hoodie pockets.
That was me.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
have
Oh, actually,
a big rock that thankfully I found it at the end. It's in my window here. But I
mm-hmm,
have like selenite in every single window in my house.
mm-hmm,
A lot of tourmaline because like end of 2019, I got this message that I needed to put selenite in every single window.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, I'm still, well, I don't actually know very much about what is what here. Um are you good at crystals? Do you know what they all mean?
not what all of them mean because there's a lot like it.
Yeah.
I'll go to shops and I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that before. What's this?
Yeah.
Um,
I had
but
these purple ones. I have a
are
whole
they
wait.
amethyst?
Yeah. Why is the camera not focusing on the crystal? I don't know that. Yeah, I've been all about it. So, before we get into, because you told me you were gonna do a little bit of a reading on the live,
Yeah.
which I find these things very interesting, and I have nothing to hide for people, so I'm happy to share anything that would be shown about me. But before we do that, I would love for you to share your Acemannan story because you have used it for what are we on now? Is it 3 months?
I think I started September, so September, October,
Oh, it's
fourth
barely. Oh, October, November.
in the
Okay.
beginning of I think I just started the fourth.
Uh huh.
It's been very interesting. It has at some points of the journey, it has felt like um, almost like things from the past would flare up and
Oh yeah.
be dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the next thing would come up. But I was actually at the chiropractor on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it'd been like maybe 3 to 4 weeks since I had been there. And from car accidents when I was young, my hips have always been kind of out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
They fall easily out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so like he'll have me lie on my back and then like raise my right leg, raise my left leg. and there'd be a struggle to raise it or raise one of them, and he'd make the adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to do it on Wednesday, and I was like, "Whoop, whoop," and he's like, "Are you still taking that stuff?"
Uh-huh.
It's like that's pretty amazing, and I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still taking it." So it was nice to see that. But the other interesting thing, because it's like I didn't really expect that, because you know my body is in still in a bit of pain. But helped me make the correlation that like some of it is related to stress.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom's starting to like um get dementia, and have that mental decline, and I'm having to like figure out from not a far distance, but a distance, like how to take how to handle the situation, how to take care of my mom, how to really step in. Like, I'm the adult now, and I'm going to make decisions whether you like it or not. So like that the stress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was like, I don't really have any work stress, and but I'm like, oh yeah, there's that stress, and the flood, and I think even like the muscle memory of when I was really sick in my 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of stress that I was under with work at that time, like I feel like it's triggering this other energy within me, where it's like my body is healing, but at the same time, there's this part of me that's going, no,
Mm-hmm.
hold on,
I think
tight.
you, in a way too, because you do energy work, you kind of still understand it. So when you are doing this, what's going on is obviously your body is taking your issues and it brings them out again and then get rid of them. So same with the energy work, right? If you truly want to cleanse yourself, you got to face whatever it is
Yep.
that you have inside of you, got to face it. And it's kind of the same here, where that's why some people that start might think that they're pretty good. They're pretty healthy and they don't have a lot of stuff going on. And then they almost get shocked when they start to detox, because it's like, wait a second. While a person that is dealing with a lot of stuff, they're usually the ones that don't really notice a lot because they're already dealing with so much. So, it's just kind of comes and goes. Well, I was one of them where there wasn't really that much going on because I was managing the problems so well. And then you're wondering, wait a second, why am I feeling a little worse right now? This is strange. Oh, something must be wrong. And I have them people, especially like athletes, that will reach out, wait, something is wrong. I had one girl, she got a crazy fever for 2 days and she was like, I don't understand what's wrong with me. I haven't been sick in this many years. I'm like, girl, you have an autoimmune disease that's been shoved, like, you have it, and it's been just silenced in there. It just needed to come out. And then I guess it was like 2 days later, it was going away again. But yes, so a lot of times maybe there's even more in there that you weren't even aware of or have forgotten about.
Yeah. Well, especially like, the rush of life, and, doing all these things. It's like, you don't have time to think about those things, and
Mm-hmm.
modern society isn't really set up for us to process our emotions, and,
Mm-hmm.
process what's happening, and it's, day in and day out. And like, I see so many people at work, like, they're stressed at work. They've got all these meetings and all these things to do, and then they've got to rush and take their kid here, and
Mm-hmm.
do dinner, and do this, do that. And it's like, oh my god, nobody has time to just like calm the fuck down.
Right.
We're always in this like perpetual state.
Mm-hmm.
um and just how much that really impacts us, and how important it is to truly take control of our lives. Take something like Acemannan, and detox the physical body, so you can start to detox the mental and emotional body, and truly heal.
Mm-hmm. So you said, well, I
And
think it's also really good to talk about that. I don't want anybody to pretend everything was great, because, and a lot of people I think in the world don't really know about detoxing. A lot of people
Mm.
don't even know what it is or why we should do it. And besides the Acemannan and everything, I talk about parasite cleanses and mold cleanses and all this. And I actually asked somebody I know a while ago, and I said, "When was the last time you did a parasite cleanse?" And I got response like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Wow, like nobody, they never tell you about this. Why didn't they tell you about this in school? Or the doctor would never tell you these things." And even if you are super healthy and you're taking Acemannan, I still do parasite cleanses because
Mhm.
I don't think it's gonna be enough for these kind of things. It will detox a lot out of your body, but as far as I know, it doesn't detox a parasite. So
Yeah. I've even been like researching like what are the sound frequencies, the healing frequencies to help. So I've been looking at
hmm
that
I got
to
one
help.
sent to me today. Actually, let me see. I didn't even listen, but yeah, but I listen a lot to this. I actually ordered a hand pan. I'm gonna start playing handpan, and I have this. I think he's Norwegian or something. I don't know. Malte Martin that plays the most beautiful, and all of his videos that people can find them on YouTube. They're all 432 frequency or 963. And then I actually got one sent to me today that is supposed to be for
Right?
injuries because was talking about somebody yesterday about the fact that I never get sick. I haven't been sick in almost my whole life, but what I have been dealing with is injuries. That's like been my
Mm.
my ongoing story, right? Always injuries. I will never get a cold, but I'll break something, and obviously I'm done with that now. But he sent me a frequency that's supposed to be specifically for injuries. And
Hmm.
now I can't. Oh my, it's not loading on my phone, but it's 500 something frequency, I think, that is supposed to be for that. See if I can find it.
The 528.
Yeah. Wait a second. I think I found it.
The
Oh, commercials, of course. No, I don't want to hear that. Let me see. You can keep talking. Let's see if I find it. 500 hertz plus
Interesting.
9. Wait. No, wait a second. I don't really know what this means. It says 11,500 plus 9.
Hmm.
I've never even heard that actually. That's interesting. So again, I don't know. Can you see me screen share? I don't think so. Can you see my screen?
No,
Okay, no.
no.
Well, this is supposed to be, that's very loud. This is supposed to be it. Somebody want to go check it out? Love Motives Healing Music. Yeah, it says 11,500 plus 9. So actually, I haven't looked
Hmm.
in much to it, but that's supposedly from a trusted source, supposed to be like injury prevention or some sort.
And we all need that.
Yes. So you said your hips got better. That's great. I know there was something with your. Did you have eczema?
Hmm. It comes and goes. I think if I eat too much sugar,
That will do it.
it'll flare up. And it's not as dry as it is out west, but
Mm-hmm.
it's cold and dry here. So, usually have a flare up around this time. But again, it comes and goes. It is getting better. But interesting and fun fact. So a friend of mine, her mother just had brain surgery. She had
Mm-hmm.
bleeding on the brain, and I was talking to her, and she was saying that like um, she was at a teaching hospital, and so like the doctors were asking all the students like various questions, and it was like, what do you notice about her brain scan,
Uh huh.
and the one of the guys was like, you can tell that she doesn't drink soda.
Uh huh.
And it was like, well, how can you tell that?
Uh huh.
Well, every time you drink soda, it creates dips or little holes, not really holes, but like little divots in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have bleeding on the brain and you drink a lot of soda, artificial sweeteners, Benadryl, things like that. It creates these divots when they
Mm-hmm.
have to. draw the blood out from the brain, they have to go into all these little pockets,
Uh-huh.
and um, they don't tell you any of that.
No, I believe that. And we do with the Acemannan, we actually have a neurophysiologist that was she originally started. She got Lyme's disease back in the days. Met a guy at her, like her child's fighting practice or whatever it was. And this person comes up to her and gives her a focus or a focus drink and said, "You got to try this." And, this person didn't even know she had Lyme's disease. So it was causing a lot of damage to her brain. She couldn't concentrate ever. It was a lot of stuff going on. She drinks this, came back to the guy after the fight and said, "I don't know what you just gave me, but I need all of that." She said she could focus on her child's entire fight without any problems. And she hadn't done that since she got Lyme's disease. And now she's been doing a lot of research because she works with the brain. And she has, if somebody wants to check it out, her name is Mindy. I won't show it later. You can go to her page and actually see the brain scans they've been doing, showing, I'm actually drinking the Focus now, that when you drink it, it activates the brain and you can actually see it. Probably same with the soda, right? You can see how it turns on the brain, and it would turn it on the same for you or me, or like a person with or without ADHD. It doesn't matter, it would do the same thing, which is crazy. So it's really cool. And I think we have brain research on other products as well, but specifically for that one. And I truly believe it. I think everything you do in life is probably doing something to your brain.
Yep. Well, and even like all the research that Bruce Lipton has done, and how, like science, the mainstream science will tell us
Mm-hmm.
that, like, we're whatever is our in our genes, we're doomed to have it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where the science actually disproves that, and that, through controlling our emotions, deciding, how, like, being active in our health, and making better choices,
Mm-hmm.
we can actually turn off things,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and reverse things, and that, like, we actually are co-creating our reality, our life, our bodies, with the world around us.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Absolutely.
having things like Ace Mannon, and, their focus drinks, and all this stuff. And there's, a few other really good, like the Ormus and colloidal.
Yes, we were talking about this earlier, colloidal
Yeah,
gold, yeah? So you
yeah.
do, they're actual flakes, the one you had, right?
That's the one I want to get, because,
Oh, got it.
I read that, like, people
Mm-hmm.
had some really amazing experiences, but I've done like the liquid Ormus,
Yeah. The
um,
one, I got the
for
one from Hawaii that my friend recommended. And I've done other ones in before. So I have not had any, or I'm not going to say haven't had any. I have not remembered my dreams in probably 10 plus years. Like
wow.
few rare occasions during these 10 years, I've remembered something, but it's usually then just little snippets. So now I have a conversation with our mama the other day, and she told me, "Okay, Max, you're going to start waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning or something, and you're going to write down your dreams, right?" So the first night, no, was it? Well, I can't remember. Either way, I woke up and I had nothing. There was literally nothing. Yesterday, I took 2 sips of this Hawaiian Gold that I just got. I had the craziest, not the dream itself wasn't crazy, but wrote it down. I can send it to you later if you want to read it. It's an entire novel long, like, dream. I remember everything. I remember every person. I remember every color. I remember every smell. I remember how people's clothes looked. It was, I've never had anything like that ever since that. When I was a child, I did. I do have this one dream from when I was a child that I would repeatedly dream all of the time. And every time I dreamt it, it went a little bit further in the dream. And I would say I had that dream for years and years. Same freaking thing every time. And I still remember it so vividly. And now this one, and I did write it down, yes, but I still now, after the entire day, still remember the smells and everything I saw. And you know how people ask sometimes, do you dream in color? Like, do you? Abso-freaking-lutely. I remember all the colors. I remember the smells. I was smelling candles, and as at one point in this dream, a man gave me a face mask, and I put it on, and I remember what it smelled like.
Mm.
It was I don't think I have ever had anything that vivid ever, so I definitely believe the gold had something to do with that. Just kind of
Yeah.
helping me remember things, because that's what
Yeah.
he actually said it was supposed to do. And he's saying this gold, like I think I sent you that information where he's saying it's coming from a place in Hawaii where apparently if you live there, like if you swim in the ocean there, you're basically swimming in this gold.
Mm.
And my phone is not even, my phone and my computer are not syncing these days, so I can't see anything on the computer. Yeah, he said that the Hawaiian monatomic gold is the strongest on the realm, the elixir of the gods and goddesses, and are as you're yeah. And he's just said, well, now you're seeing the effects. And he said you're technically swimming in it if you live over there. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, and that's
Go ahead.
like, to take it in a different direction, like, the Anunnaki, came here to our planet specifically for gold.
Mm-hmm.
And you know technically our two planets are coming closer together, like the Nibiru and Earth, which Nibiru is like the twin to the Earth. So like, as we get closer, that's why, like, there's additional chaos and things that are happening as these two orbits come closer together.
Yeah.
So whether or not, like, you know I know that, like, before it was like, oh, space aliens didn't exist, and then it's like, yes, they do, and now that, there's the whole, like, it's the, blue beam stuff. But I
Yeah,
do think
that's
that
why when I was in Atlantic City now, so over there is where they're seeing most of this stuff. And I kind of want to pull up what happened to my face when I got there. You can keep talking while I find the picture, because I've
well,
never seen
an
anything like this.
interesting, like, so I'm originally from New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was in college here in North Carolina, I my boyfriend at the time was really into all that kind of stuff. So he had
Mm-hmm.
a book about aliens, and I was reading it, or about, not aliens, but about UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
And I started reading it, and there was all this UFO, or UAP is what they call it now,
Mm-hmm.
um, sightings around the area where I was born. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, the actual town was like New Village, I think is what it's called. So there
Yeah.
was, like, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I think there was a lot of sightings in that area. So interesting that the drones and everything are showing up now.
Yeah. I texted you the photo I'm gonna show on the screen for people. So when I
Oh
got to
yeah.
Atlantic City, this happened to my face. Do you see that?
Yep.
It's crazy. But it
I
was
remember.
only like for a day. And then as soon, I mean, you see my face now. It's gone, right? It was, and my eyes started itching, and I mean, so weird. And people looked at me, like, what's going on with your eyes? I was like, I don't know. I don't have like an allergy like that. I used to be allergic when I was a kid, but I don't have an allergy anymore. And I've been to Atlantic City every year for this exact same competition they do, and I've never felt this before.
Mm.
Definitely something interesting going on over there in the air.
Well, I know, like the I haven't looked into it because I haven't had the time, but I know there's like a lot of drones and stuff that are showing up. So like, who knows what they're spraying or putting into
Yes,
the
there was a lot of
atmosphere.
chemtrails in the air over there for sure. I saw them.
Yeah. I know, like, I a friend of mine said, like, if you get wooden stakes that have the copper wires
Mm-hmm.
spiraled around it, and
Mm-hmm.
put it around, like, where you live, that's supposed to help clear out the chemtrails.
Oh, yeah, I have. So I have a copper chain, copper wire, and I got my copper water bottle. Going crazy with everything here now, but I truly think it helps. Then we got the sage here and all the crystals and everything. Definitely. Stop burning for a second. Okay, so you told me about oracle readings.
Yes.
What is that and how does that work?
Well, there's I don't know, various card decks. So I have
Mm-hmm.
got four different decks. So you could do it one of two ways. You could
Mm-hmm.
do well, your multiple ways. You could do various spreads, and then you get your cards and you read, what the author of the cards interpret the cards to be. The way
Mm-hmm.
I do it, I use it as a tool. So like I'll either if I'm doing just a generic, pick card, 1 through 5. I'll just like what does God want us to know this week, and
Mm-hmm.
people will pick, and then I channel messages based on what I see in the cards.
Mm.
So that's usually how I use them.
So would you do a reading on me right now?
Yes. Is there anything specific that you have a question about, or do you want just general?
Um, you know what? I probably should have thought of that prior. Um, because
And we can
I had some questions lately and I ran them by my spirit mama here. So I feel like I probably got it answered. So maybe do it generally.
okay. And I will say up front, I am a horrible card shuffle
Oh,
person. So
actually, let me get back.
okay.
Let's do a question. Let's do this. Is there anything that I need to detox or cleanse? Because I am on a journey right now where I have to be completely pure, and that is something I believe I am, but I don't know for sure. So that we can do. And oh, I have one of those crazy shuffle machines. Maybe you should get that. They're super cool, actually. Is that you, kitty?
Yeah.
Skunkle Phil is messaging me. He said that we got crocked off in Instagram, and yes, I'm gonna remind people again. If you are live on Instagram, Instagram does not show the full live stream. I still go live there, but I tell everybody to go anywhere else. Every other platform shows full view. Instagram is the only one who doesn't. So Rumble or X or Facebook or YouTube would work perfect. And my Instagram
So
also doesn't connect into the streaming service.
so the first card is the Well Maidens. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So it says kindness, respect, reverence, compassion. So there's ties here to King Arthur. Um, so it could be a past life to kind of like detox from. Recently I read that they found and they did research at a place that they believe was where King Arthur was, and they found that it was like 4,000 years older than they originally thought.
Mm-hmm.
Which would put it, there's the like 5,100 or give or take year cycles, which again is like the when Nibiru and our Earth come close together.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be something like allowing yourself to really go that far back. So like that's where like
Okay.
I
I
do
got goosebumps
the
because I don't know where or why or how, but I heard something about this just recently.
Yeah. So, going back to like the last cycle and,
Mm-hmm.
things that were happening there, like, again, there's that 5,000 year cycle where, they think that's like when we were having, galactic wars, our memories were wiped. So, like, that forgetting of like who we truly are. So, detoxing from that. And sometimes it's like, whether you do hypnosis, whether you're like in your dreams, or whether you're um um you know going into your own records, whatever it is that you do, or
Mm-hmm.
get a reading from somebody else, like, what thing happened to you then that is like still in your body and in your system that needs to be let go of.
Yes.
And
I have had a energy session once where I saw myself, which might have been then,
then,
as a royalty. And I know something horrible happened to me back then. How much I know.
yeah. So if you want a session, in the future, like I can, guide you further into that, or
Yes.
whatever it needs to help release that. And as much as I like doing the sessions for people, I also think that there's something like when you can have the experience yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and see things and realize things, like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so much more empowering, because it's easy to say like, oh well, she saw that and it's not really true, but when you experience it,
Yes, I agree.
you gotta believe it.
Oh yes.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
definitely think I know a lot of people who likes to get readings and whatnot, but I think also, as you say, you need to somehow do the work yourself,
yeah,
through meditation or whatever you do to actually feel and see things.
yeah. Well, I did impromptu session. So I'm in the process of rebranding
Mm-hmm.
my website. So the woman who's been doing that,
Mm-hmm.
um, she had she was going through some stuff. So I said, I can do a clearing, and it was no more than like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And like she said, it just activated this whole thing. And there were like, it was a domino started this
If you drink
domino
hot
effect of
water
like
with
all these
turmeric
things
and lemon
falling
every
into
morning,
place. Um so even like when somebody does the work for you, allowing it to be an activation, um, and then like process through whatever is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't integrate and embody, it's the same like, people who do ayahuasca, or,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff, like every week or every other week. It's like you're not actually doing the work. You're
Exactly.
in the experience, but you're not integrating and taking the information that you were given.
Yes. I think a
So,
lot of people can probably I've heard people that go and do these and they almost get, addicted to it. So how is
mhm,
this any better than any other addiction? I've never done anything like this, but I'm about to have my own journey, and to me that I feel like it would be a one-time experience. I mean, who knows in the future, but that's how I see it. I do it, I find information, I apply it, and that's it.
yep, yep. So the other card is immerse yourself. So
Mhm.
training, learning, new hobbies, and passion, and that's exactly where you are and what you're doing. And I
Mhm.
know, that you're starting some training in January. So I think that's
Mhm.
like you're right where you need to be.
Mhm.
And I mean, since I've met you, and I think it was like shortly after we met that you moved to New Mexico,
Yeah.
and so um, it's been that unlocking of all of your spiritual gifts.
Mhm.
Not that you weren't having them beforehand, but it's like boop 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 boop, everything's falling into place, and
Yeah.
everything is in alignment with your mission to like help. help children, which is
Mm-hmm.
another wonderful thing about Acemannan, and how they give back and help other kids so that they're nutritionally taken care of.
Yeah. And I think also that time you did the session on me, I believe I meet everybody for a reason, and I met you that day for a reason. And I was already on, had been on my spiritual journey for a while, but ever since that day, it's just spiraled. Things are just happening so fast. I'm just have goosebumps the whole time just talking about it. But that really just kicked off everything, because when you were talking to me on that drive and I was driving and I said I don't even know you, and everything you said just made perfect sense, and it kind of just gave me answers to things that I had never gotten before.
Mhm.
And you would think anyone, for some people, that conversation probably would have sound crazy, right? And it was just everything you said just made so much sense.
Yeah.
And it
Well, and that's
definitely
like,
helped kick off all of this.
yeah.
So I
Well, and that's
appreciate
the
you very much for that.
thank you. And that's the incredible thing about like the quantum fields and the Akashic records is
Mm-hmm.
that uh, it it's all the information, past, present, and future, and
Mm-hmm.
like whatever's meant to show up is what you're meant to know.
Mm-hmm.
And myself as the practitioner, like I'm not supposed to, like I know certain people like niche down and like
Mm-hmm.
I do relationships or I do this, and it's like I don't have a niche. It's like either like do you have a specific question or like what
Mm-hmm.
information wants to come through, and it's exactly, even if I'm like, I don't know what this means. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was working on, one person, and I was like, I don't know what this means, but I keep seeing this really big chicken.
Yeah. Oh wait, you
And
you
I'm
you
like,
told me
I
this,
was
I
almost
think.
like I was almost afraid to like say something to her about it, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I keep seeing this thing. It keeps popping in to my vision.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you want to know what the chicken is? And I'm like, yeah. And it was like, something funny that she used to do to like make people laugh when she was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like about, for her, it was about tapping back into like, the inner child stuff. I did a session the other week, and um, I had a specific thing that I was supposed to be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And this person, a past life version of, and I don't know who her husband is, never met him, but
Mm-hmm.
like, he showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like the message was, you're my home. I'm always, I will always come home to you no matter what I'm doing. Like, even if I'm in the middle of a battle, like as
Mm-hmm.
soon as it's done, I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
And like either it was either right before she listened to my stuff or right after, he pretty much came to her and said those exact words.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can't make this stuff up.
Mm-hmm. I think anyone
So
who's never tried anything like this, because I've had, people I know that have been very skeptical to this, and then somehow they end up having a session, and I'm sure there are scam artists out there, but and then they had one friend like super anti all of this, had a session, and she just like left us, and like I don't even know what to think. Like, how can this person know all of these things and say all of these, like that's just not possible. So, and but again, I don't really know how you would know. I feel like trust your intuition when
yeah,
you're finding somebody to do it.
yeah. And some like, and I think it also depends on like, how long they've been doing things. Like some people are
Mm-hmm.
just naturally gifted, but
Yeah.
there's also um like, and this was before I was probably just starting to really awaken to my gifts, and I went to like um a reading with a friend of mine. She wanted to get a reading with this, I think she wanted a reading with a specific person and they
Mm-hmm.
weren't available. So, we went to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother had recently passed and she was asking some questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because like all the things that the woman received
Mm-hmm.
were technically correct,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there were things where she was afraid to say things the way that it was given to her,
Uh-huh.
so she put her own twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, my friend left that saying, "Oh, none of this was true," because like one of the things was that like her mom was a horrible artist,
Uh-huh.
and like could barely like do um an elephant or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like so the big joke was that was about that. And so like one of the things that came through was
Oh,
like her
I
mom
think
was funny.
I'm gonna let Chris jump in and then you can keep talking here also. Let me see. Okay. Hi, how are you? Can you hear us? Chris? Can you hear
Yeah.
us?
What's up, Max?
How are you? I have Megan on still. I don't know if you guys can see each other. I'm just gonna let her finish up her story. No, I know the streaming service is weird like that, but Chris is here, Megan is here, I am here. And Megan, please continue.
So it was just like sometimes it's like it's learning to trust the information that you receive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've multiple times in sessions have been like, I don't know what this means, but this is what's being shown to me. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like the person knows exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like, okay, let me continue to ask questions and see what else there is, and then I'll get more information. And I've had other times where like a person has left a session and they're like, neither one of us knows what something means. And then like,
Mm-hmm.
the next day they're calling me and they're like, oh my God, I know what it
Yes.
means.
Yeah. I think also
So
sometimes you just need to receive the information and just go on with your life, right? And then suddenly one day you just know. I mean, I even
yeah.
have things now that information I received when I was a child that makes sense now. It took that long, but now I'm like, wow, now I know why I saw that or I heard that or I was told that or whatever. So absolutely.
So
I'm gonna let Chris, before I let you introduce yourself, have you had any sort of like energy work or energy readings done ever?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have Megan on here who does energy work, and she did a session on me once before we even knew each other, and I said I'd already been on the spiritual journey, but that day after that session, it's just spiraled. Like everything has just happened after that, and when we were talking that first time, I said I didn't know her. We had just briefly met one time, and I'm sitting in the car driving to this MMA gym where I live now, and I don't remember. We were probably on the phone for maybe 1.5, 2 hours or something. And like everything she said, I'm just sitting there and I have goosebumps and I'm crying and I'm just like, wow, everything she says just makes sense. And it just gave me a lot of answers to things, not necessarily questions I had been asking like that, but it just answered things that, and I was like, wow, now I understand, why certain things happen in my life. And it was really cool. And after that, I've done more of this work. And yeah, everything is just unfolding now. And I'm meeting all of these incredible people, such as yourself, too. And I believe all of us meet for a reason. We're supposed to somehow play a role in the mission of making the world better.
I agree.
And I'm going to see, Megan, do you still want to be on for a little while? Or do
no,
you
I
need
think
to go?
I'm gonna like I said, I've been awake since 3 a.m. and
Yes, you should go
it's
to sleep.
almost 9 here. So
Yes, but thank you so much for coming on,
yeah.
and I'll talk to you soon again.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there we go. Hi, Chris. So, yeah, this live stream service doesn't let guests see each other for some reason, which is very interesting. But
Oh, okay. That is weird.
yeah, I don't know. It's called eCam. It's really good, but there are still like certain little things that doesn't work optimal. Maybe I should put together an email for them one day and say either I'm an idiot and I don't understand how, or they just need to work on their stuff, right?
Mm.
But welcome, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are and what you do, and whatever you want to say about yourself. And we have no restrictions, no limitations whatsoever on this live. So if they shut me down, I don't even care. Basically.
My name is Chris. I own Iron Misfits Training, Long Island, in Farmingdale, Long Island. Um, I'm a recent cancer survivor. Um, I am personal trainer, nutritionist, I guess retired bodybuilder at this point. And yeah, just you know, post surgery, they have me on all these drugs because I had what's called an esophagectomy, which is where they cut out portions of your esophagus, as well as they cut out portions of a portion of my stomach, about a third, and they had to rebuild it with tissue. Um, what I didn't know, or what I mean, I guess it was like information overload at that time. That comes with a lot of complications post
Mm-hmm.
surgery.
I'm gonna ask you before we
Um,
continue. Could you step back like a tiny step so I can see your whole beautiful face? There we go. Perfect. It's for the
yeah,
edit later. I want me to see everything.
okay. Um, so that came with a lot of complications, and um, the medications that they have me on, there aren't that many to choose from. Matter of fact, the one they had me on in the hospital was called Reglan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not a long-term medication because it can cause Parkinson's-like symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really not supposed to be on it that long. I was already on it longer than I was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only two other medications that are available. I think we had spoken about this briefly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One of them is like a nasal
Mm-hmm.
thing, which you think why or how. And the other one is called domeprazole, which is not available in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's only available in Canada, and insurance doesn't cover it, so I have to pay out of pocket for it.
Really? Only in
And
Canada? Do you know
oh
why?
yeah, something to do. What the hell did my GI doctor say? Something to do with you might know this better. It's either they only have the generic, or the
Uh-huh.
generic's not available. It's one
Oh,
of
okay.
those two things.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it's not FDA approved here, but it's approved there, and I have to order them 1,000 at a time
Uh-huh. Wait, are
because
you
I have to
still
take.
using this?
Yeah, I'm still
Mm-hmm.
using it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a further
Um,
conversation later. I'm just curious. I'm against all medication, but that's a later on conversation because now we just want to know what you do and what happened.
right. So I have to take that pill every time I eat,
Mm-hmm.
and still living like the lifestyle of a bodybuilder. As
Yes.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I eat 5 times a day, so I have to take
Mm-hmm.
5 pills a day times 7 days a week times
Mm-hmm.
365 days a year for the rest of my
Mm-hmm.
life.
So what is
S- Uh,
when you are using this medication, what's the is no, this is not the Parkinson like symptoms. That was a different one, right? What
that
is
was the Reglan. That was yeah.
what is the side effects of this medication that you are using right now? Do you know?
I don't. It doesn't really have side effects because what it does. So my stomach works in opposite ways right now. So when it's
Mm-hmm.
empty,
Mm-hmm.
it creates acid.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to take pills at night to stop that.
Um.
When it's full, it doesn't digest, or a slow
Mm-hmm.
emptying stomach. It's basically like paralysis
Yeah.
of the stomach tissue. Because when they cut the stomach up, they cut the nerves out that
Mm-hmm.
uh, that are responsible for the digestion. So I have
Mm-hmm.
to take the pill to create it.
Yeah.
But the problem I'm having now, not so much with the domeprazole, with
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the other one's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really working anymore.
Yeah.
The one I take at night to stop the acid.
Yeah. Do you know
So I've been
why?
starting to get,
Is your body like kind of
no,
used to it or something?
I mean, I've only really been taking it for, I don't know, maybe barely 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's only one other medication I can take, which I tried once, and I had horrible adverse reactions to it. So I went back to the one I've been taking.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that maybe
all
that it's not working is your body telling you something? Are you wait, I don't know if you and me talked about this. Are you spiritual? Do you
I'm
believe in, that we're all energy?
I'm definitely leaning more towards it now. I mean, I was always curious about it. I never really dove into it.
Mm-hmm.
Although like after meeting you, I
Mm-hmm.
definitely
I need to
I'm
put
trying to
you
be more.
on if you want to. I love sharing information and I love to, I can tell you a thing. It doesn't mean you need to believe me at all, but I love sharing
Mm,
information. And if you want to, I am super happy to share. So, you can go down your own rabbit holes. Because if you met me maybe even 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed in a lot of things I believe in today. So, and it's all about just meeting people, talking to people, seeing things, feelings. Also the best thing, like Megan was talking about her, I don't know how much of it you heard, but there's one thing to go to a person like her and get a reading done. I mean, you can
right,
decide whether or not you believe her. But what she said, what a lot of people don't do, she said you can go and get a reading, that's great, but if you don't truly dig into and do the work and start to see and feel the things for yourself that she is saying, it's not going to work. Then why are you doing
right,
it? Because you need
right, right,
to see and feel for yourself. And that's where like the next step comes in. You can get a reading done and they tell you things, but then what? Are you going to actually dig into that? And what that could be is, for example, through meditation. Because as 2 years ago, I didn't believe in God. I've spoken
mm,
to God. I've seen, and also I believe God we're all God. It's everywhere. It's in everything. But 2 years ago, I didn't even necessarily believe in that. I was like, I believe in energy. I speak to the universe, and now I mean, I've seen, I've felt. Like then you have no questions anymore when you get there.
right. Mm.
And I believe, and I'm not saying this is the case, but if your body is not, if the medications suddenly don't really work on you, maybe your body's trying to tell you something.
I wish I knew what it was trying to tell me. It's bad enough it tried to kill me. Um,
Yeah, we're not going to do that. But, again,
yeah,
maybe you met me and you're going to meet other people that are here to maybe give you bits and pieces to get
right,
to where you're supposed to be, which is
right.
probably and hopefully on no medication.
Well, so that was going to lead me into the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the stuff from you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just the
Acemannan.
name just
Acemannan.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ace Man, it just
Yes.
and obviously I was a little skeptical, just because it's just
As you
human
should
nature,
be. As you should be.
right? And
But
it's
how
been
long? What has it been? 2 weeks?
about 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, super
Um,
early still.
and it's funny. So I'm gonna try and condense this down.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to train really early in the morning when I was
You don't
competing.
need to
I would be
condense
up
any.
at 3.
I have all the time in the world because I want you to
Okay.
talk about as much time as you have. If we are on here for 3 hours, then so be it. I want you to just
Oh,
talk about everything.
okay.
I have no
Okay.
no plans after this.
So I used to train at like 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
This is before I had the gym I have now here.
Why so
I had my
early?
routine.
Why so
Um,
early? Was there a certain reason?
I liked it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like nothing's awake, nothing's up. It's just me and the weights. There's no distractions. It's quiet. I can kind of like the gym was always like my safe place. Um, and going that early, that pre-COVID, there was a bunch of 24-hour gyms I used to go to. I would like jump around,
Why three
and I just
o'clock
liked it.
specifically, Mister? Do you know why 3 o'clock?
Just because it worked with my work schedule and everything.
That's a video. That's
So
something I'm gonna send you to rabbit hole down because 3 a.m. in the morning is the strongest universal energy, so to speak.
that well now you're gonna make
Yeah.
this even
No,
more
it's
interesting.
yes.
So
No, and I said
um,
that's why little things you say. I'm like, okay. So is that remember
right,
your
right,
subconscious already? You're definitely your subconscious knows things already.
right. So I did this for many years,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of got away from it after I did my last competition, and
Mm-hmm.
then I wanted to try to get back into it, and I just couldn't. This is before I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't do it no matter how much I tried. I'd set alarms, I would lay my
Yeah.
clothes out, I would
Mm-hmm.
sleep in my gym clothes. every possible thing, like, maybe maybe I'm losing it a little, whatever.
Yeah.
So you fast forward, um, get sick, get diagnosed, chemo, surgery, everything, move forward. Now, it took me about 2 years just to get back to where I am now,
Mm-hmm.
which is still like, I still can't believe I'm even like, how I look right now is like, I could never thought I'd look like this again at all. So, right before I started
Acemannan.
the
You
Acemannan,
can you
I'll
can
get
say
it.
typically we like to not talk too much about product names for the reason of
Oh,
that it's still not completely RFK changed in the world, and the FDA doesn't
right,
really
right,
love
right,
what we do. So for that reason, we say Acemannan rather than the product name. But hopefully soon we don't have to care about that
right, right.
since we're talking about pretty
Um,
extreme things.
right, right, right. So I felt like, because I have a crazy schedule now with all my clients and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and my training was lacking, and my nutrition started slipping, and I'm just like, oh, and then with the medication not really working that much, it's like it was like the perfect storm. It's like I'm
Yeah.
trying to squeeze training sessions in between clients, or sometimes I don't end till 8 o'clock at night, or the
Mm-hmm.
last thing I want to do is set up again.
Mm-hmm.
So I started taking it
Mm-hmm.
the first week, and
How much
come
did
the
you take?
second week,
Just to
just
ask that. Just
no, I take one in the morning.
Oh, that's it. So you're only doing half a
That's it.
serving. That's one serving is
Yeah,
2 a day.
yeah, one,
So
one serving.
no. So you take 2 a day, morning and evening.
No, just one,
Oh, so you're
just
doing
one in the
you're
morning.
only doing half a serving then, because
Oh
once
yeah, I guess. Yeah,
a
yeah.
serving size is 2. So basically, you would take one in the morning and one in the evening. So if you're only taking one,
Right.
you're only doing half a serving. So if you have felt anything on half a serving, just saying that, take a full serving and see what happens.
Well, okay. So now that I'm getting more
Mhm.
clarity on this,
Mhm.
so this is why I thought about it yesterday.
Mhm.
So the first week, I guess maybe my body was adapting to it. The
Mhm.
second week, which was this Monday,
Mhm.
I woke up at 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
and I was like up. I'm like, I feel like working out. Like I feel good. I remember that feeling. It was a
Mhm.
feeling I used to have.
Mhm.
It wasn't that like, oh, okay, it's 3 o'clock, hit the snooze, go back to sleep, and you'll wake up in 10 minutes. Next thing I know, I'm running late to work. Didn't get the workout in. But this Monday, woke up at 3, wasn't even trying to, just woke up. And I'm like, I'm gonna go work out.
Mhm.
Went in here, had a killer workout session. I'm like, this has to be a fluke. This isn't gonna happen again. But let's just see. I set my alarm for Tuesday.
Mhm.
Got right up, grabbed my pre-workout, drank it, came
You don't
in,
need
killed it. Wednesday.
don't drink
The,
pre-workout.
the only reason why I did is because, well, I thought I needed it. Because I'm like, wait a minute, if I'm up,
Mhm.
there's no way I'm going to have, like, and I haven't taken pre-workout in years.
Mhm.
This whole thing was, like, kind of new to me again.
Yeah, because the pre-workout is going to
Woke up.
cause some lactic acid in your body, and I will explain after your story. I will explain why you're not going to need it and why you're waking up. I'll get to the science after.
Okay. So Wednesday, same thing. Yesterday, same thing.
Mhm.
Today, I'm like, maybe I'll skip Friday because like I got the podcast and then
Mhm.
I got like clients. I'm like, but I was up at 3. I came in here, I killed the workout, and here I am. And I'm like, something is different. Something feels different. First, I'm like, maybe it's the placebo effect. But then I'm like, no, you got too much going on inside your body for it to be that. Maybe it's that. Maybe that is giving me that like boost that my body needed. And then that's pretty much where I'm at. And I'm like, I got to bring this
This
up to
is so
her
cool
because
because I wanna get you back on the live like regularly. So this is it's not crazy, but it is. That has only been 2 weeks because I have heard stories like this before of people that are getting stuff like this happen after a couple of days or even the first day. So I'm not surprised. It's just that I don't want people to expect that everybody feels it this fast because that's not the case. Everybody's different. Some
right,
people have more more because it helps you detox too. So if you have a lot of shit going on in your body, I believe though that if you're feeling it this quickly, you probably, not saying that you don't have any toxins or anything, you know, we all do, but maybe not as much as certain other people. So for somebody that's been sick their entire life, like, you know, it might take a little while. And you still might experience detox symptoms because it's going to help you detox always. So if you ever, like, let's say during a week, like one day you're feeling like, okay, I'm detoxing something, that don't be alarmed because that's what it helps you do. And it does always. Like even me, I went to
Right.
Atlantic City now, which probably some fun going on over there with all this alien spray in the air, but my entire
Oh yeah.
face flared up. And now I'm home only 4 days later and it's all gone. So I don't even know what that was.
Right.
But yeah, so the Acemannan goes in and he basically finds all the bad cells in your body, and it in like a child language explanation, it will take your bad cells and push them out somehow. It can be in the bathroom, it can be through your skin, it can be however in a detox form. And then it goes in and finds your good cells, your good stem cells, and it starts replicating them up to 400%. And it energizes your cells. So it goes in on a cellular level and reduces inflammation and energizes the cells, meaning that, you know, when you drink a pre-workout, you drink it and you feel something. This isn't going to
Right.
make you feel something until you are in the gym, for example, and you realize that maybe you start training, you're not really feeling anything specific maybe, or just like, oh, okay, you wake up and you're not as tired as usual. So it's not like a tingly feeling of any sort. It's just maybe you start training and you feel like, oh my God, I'm not really getting tired, I'm not fatiguing, and probably also, maybe not yet, but you will start to wake up and not be sore.
Right.
And this is only
Well,
on half
yeah,
a serving still, which
yeah,
that part is crazy. It's just half a serving.
right, right. Yeah, like I guess I know it's not it's not like a pre-workout type feeling. Like I get that. It wasn't that. It was something that I felt that was familiar,
Mm-hmm.
that I've been lacking for
Mm-hmm.
a while.
Yeah.
You know, even before I got sick, it was just
Mm-hmm.
something that was missing, and that's why I couldn't really pinpoint it. I'm like, how am I doing this right now? Like I'm not even trying.
Mm-hmm.
Was it because I was trying too hard? Now I'm not trying at all, or is it something else? And I think, well, what have you done different? That's the only thing I've done different was starting that. And like I said, it's not a placebo effect because you know my inside has been flipped upside down and it's something else. And I have to think that, I mean, time will tell
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize I was taking half a dose, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Um,
Oh no, we
but
have a
so I
lot
can
of people.
imagine.
We have a lot of people doing that because they don't really, you know, read the instructions or whatever, and they only take one, and then they feel something. I'm like, imagine if you do a full dose now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna start doing it tomorrow.
I would love for you to try. So we have products that are more like for training, but I would love for you to just try to train without pre-workout and just report back how you feel.
Okay.
We do have something called, we have an 11 ATP product that increases your ATP in the body, which we don't like to call it a pre-workout, but that would be what, if you feel like you would need even more energy and boost for the gym, that's what that would be for. But I said, just continue what you do. And then I said, when you are starting to realize more what this actually does, you'll probably be crazy like us and just like, give me everything. But yeah,
Well, I
it
don't.
energizes your cells. That's what it does. And that's why you would feel like you don't have trouble getting up. Like I used to have trouble getting up in the morning too. I just wake up and I just get up now. I don't need to snooze. I don't need to do any of that.
And on the back end, I'm not as like I should be exhausted right now. I had heard what that woman said before she got off.
Mm-hmm.
I've been up since 3 a.m. too,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not even really like I'm tired, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
exhausted.
Yeah.
And that was what's been going on. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I've been exhausted, like my whole body, mentally, physically
Yes.
exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that anymore. I just feel like normal tired.
That's
you know.
perfect. Because you guys are also so she's been on it for about 3 months. So these are like two completely different stories. So she was dealing with a lot of things. So she's actually still experiencing certain detox symptoms. But the crazy so she's been having issues with her hips for the longest time. And she went to her chiropractor and they were like, are you still using that thing? Like, how can you just do these movements? Like, you're not supposed to do that. So that's like her crazy thing that has happened, even though she still is dealing with some things. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's different. Takes longer for some people.
Right.
Some people are dealing with so many different things in their entire body that it might just take a little longer. So it's always cool to hear all the different people's. I don't want to just have people talk where it happens the first week, like because that's not realistic either.
Right.
We need to know that everybody's different and everybody's experiencing it, but we can guarantee that everybody will have results.
Right. And I have a lot of clients that I feel can benefit as well for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, I'm hesitant to, like, I'm actually now on TikTok. I have the ability to go live now, and I was
Oh
like
yeah,
promoting this
you
too,
sent
even
me that
even this
earlier. I
morning.
was preparing
Yeah.
stuff for the live.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I kind of put like a teaser out there. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I explained why I was going on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There's this new holistic medication that I'm starting to take. I didn't give the name or anything, or
Mm-hmm.
but I said I'm gonna kind of keep updating
Mm-hmm.
my progress on it.
Yeah, and I
Um,
love that. I love that we did this so early, because then
yeah,
maybe the next time we'll give it another month or something, and then we'll report back and see how you feel in a month. And we have those people that we just released, or my friend Joel released a documentary about Skunko Phil. So he's on 2 years now, and so he did a recording with him right before he started when he was dying, and then
mm,
after, I think the second time he met him, it's probably had been 3 months, but only, and then recording him then, and he was like a whole new person. And then he recorded him again after a year, and now I went to see him on his 2 year, on his birthday, because he started on his birthday 2 years ago, and it's crazy. So now we
mm,
could release the entire story of how his entire life has unfolded, and like that's kind of
yeah,
how we want to do with a lot of people. That's why I'm trying to get people to come on early and talk, because I don't want you to sit here and like, oh my God, I feel so great now. I want people to also see you before you feel your best, because it's
right,
more
right,
real and you can actually follow people's stories, which I think is really cool. Like I never did it when I started, which now I'm doing it through everyone else.
right, right. Yeah, and listen, if this, I feel like if this in the beginning stage is at like almost, I guess, a micro dose, if
Yes.
I'm
Mhm.
already starting to feel and see changes,
Mhm.
I can't imagine, in 6 months from now on a regular dose where I'm gonna be.
Yeah, and I'm on almost I started in February this year. So I'm approaching a whole year, and I am still experiencing things. Even if it's not as extreme now after this long time, but I'm still noticing changes. And obviously when I first started, I only used the Acemannan and the Betalains too, actually. So I was using two things, and now obviously I'm using everything we have, like everything. And so
Right,
it's
right,
we're superhumans here.
right, right.
It's a
And
crazy.
and and it makes me not wonder. I guess that's the wrong word because I know why.
Mm,
With stuff like this, you hear people talk about it like me, like you, and then you get a skeptical person like I was, and you're like,
hmm
nah, that can't work. There's no way.
I think
But
everybody should question and everybody should be skeptical. And I mean, I still, thank you for actually giving it a try, because I don't think you should just shut something down if you don't know. You can be
right,
skeptical and then you're like, fine, I'll give it a try. Let's see. I mean, that's the best proof you can have. When you apply a feeling to something, when you feel something, that's why we were talking about spirituality before, and how if you get an energy reading, you should actually go out and through meditation or something feel what she's talking about, because then you have no
right,
questions anymore, then you have no doubts.
right, right, right. Yeah. And I also have my friend Nikki,
Mm-hmm.
who I don't think he started yet though, but I told him, I'm like, listen, I started. You need to start this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. You know, he's had, and he blames it on, and just like I will go to my grave saying that getting that damn COVID shot is
Yes.
what gave me cancer because I was
Yes.
perfectly fine before.
Let's talk more about that. I
And
was just gonna get to that actually.
oh,
I
oh
want to
God.
know. Tell people everything. What happened and why and how did they treat you? Everything.
So in January of 20,
Mm-hmm.
I got the shot. I believe it was the Johnson and Johnson one.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna, then I was gonna, then I was like, with everything going on, I'm like, I know my job's not requiring it, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was like, whatever, I'll get the one shot and whatever. So I got the one shot. Well, it was the one shot, and
Mm-hmm.
then I forget how many weeks later you get the second shot.
Uh-huh.
So I did it. I would say by end of February, beginning of March, my health was going down.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel good. I was lethargic. Mid March, I'm training and I was doing legs. I remember this like it was yesterday. I'm doing legs, and every time I did like a set, I had to stop. I was getting like dizzy and lightheaded. I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't happen. Like, what is this? I'm like, maybe I'm tired. Maybe I'm pushing too hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, but I always push hard. Like I never felt like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then week after week in March, it kept happening.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of March, I'm all messed up. I'm tired all the time. One night, I wake up. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. My
Mm-hmm.
dog's barking. I
Yeah.
wake up. I get up out of bed. I collapse.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh fuck, I must have got up too fast. I get up again. Down I go. I get up a third time. My wife's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't stand. I go to get up again. Down again. Head goes through the wall. She gets up. She's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I can't stand. I'm like, my body's not letting me stand.
Uh-huh.
I crawl to the bathroom.
How did that feel?
I
Like
sit
just like
there.
a paralyzation feeling or?
It it wasn't a pain. It wasn't painful. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
a pain. I felt like numb from the neck down. Like I could move my arms and everything. I could move my legs.
Mm-hmm.
My body was just not allowing itself to stand.
So no strength basically.
Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely zero strength. Like a
Mm-hmm.
newborn baby.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
I crawl to the bathroom on my hands and knees. I
Uh-huh.
go there. I sit there for a minute.
Uh-huh.
She brings me water. I sit up. I'm dizzy. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and get up again. So she helps me up.
Mm-hmm.
She's able to walk me to the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I sit on the couch. At this point, it's like in the fours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, this is a typical guy thing. I'm like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I'm just going to sleep it off.
Yes. I
So
probably would. I would
I
have done
fall
the same.
asleep.
I would have done the same.
I I wake up at 6.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I had to be at work a little later, so I had to be at work at 7. I wake up at 6.
Mm-hmm.
She's up. I get up. Down I go again. She's like, "We're taking you to the hospital." So I'm like, no hospital. Take me to a good friend of my doctor is a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like a sports medicine type of
Mm-hmm.
guy. So she takes me there. She carries me in. As soon as he takes one look at me, he goes, "You're anemic. Go to the ER." He goes like this to my eyes, like, "You're anemic. Go right now. Let me just take a quick blood sample. I'll send it out."
So is
Put it in.
anemic like a sign for having cancer?
No. Well,
Oh.
I'm going to tell you why
Ah.
it was anemic. So, at this point, I have no idea what's going on. He's just saying you're anemic. He's like,
Mm.
"Get out of here. Go to the ER." She brings us to the ER. They admit me. They do my blood. I'll never forget this. I'm sitting there. The doctor comes in, and he has this puzzled look on his face.
Mm.
And he goes, "I don't know how you're alive right now." I go, "What do you
Yeah.
mean?" He goes, "Well, we just ran your vitals, and we tested your hemoglobin.
Oh.
Your hemoglobin is at like 6.2.
Mm.
Below 6, you don't have enough oxygen in your
Mm.
blood to pump your organs.
Yeah,
How you were walking around like this, I don't even understand.
I have goosebumps
So
right
we
now.
got to get
Yeah.
you. Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, you didn't feel something was off? I'm like, yeah, I did, but I'm a bodybuilder. We always walk around uncomfortable. It was just a little bit more out of the ordinary.
Yes.
So he's like, you didn't notice anything like in your stool or anything? I'm like, come to think of it, the last 2 days it was kind of dark, but I just
Oh,
thought it
yeah.
was something I ate.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I had a bleeding ulcer on an artery in my esophagus. And
Yes.
that's what was causing the hemorrhaging of the blood,
Mm-hmm.
which it got worse over the weeks
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I lost so much blood, I didn't have enough energy to stand.
So was the blood coming out in your stool?
Yes.
So I had a
Yes, it
similar
was.
story just 2 weeks ago with a guy who he bled so much he actually died and then came back, and they actually said a similar thing. He came to the hospital, so he basically died, everything, gone, and then he came back, and when he came to the hospital they said too, we don't know how you're alive. So as I think all of you people, you're whatever, there's some upper power that made sure you are still here to tell this story.
Right. So 3 blood transfusions. I was in there for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
They cauterized it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sent me on my way. And like 2 weeks later, I was right back in the gym.
Uh-huh.
Enjoying life, being fine.
Yeah.
So the doctor says to me, "Okay, we want you to come back in, I think it was 8 weeks or 6 or 8 weeks for a follow-up, just to make sure everything's good." Okay. So that brings us into March, April. Brings us to like mid-May, maybe even like late May, June, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I get COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Ironic, right? Get the shot, get COVID anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had it bad too.
Yeah.
So
Did
I
you
went to go see my GI doctor.
only once, or did you get it again?
COVID, I got it initially, and then I got the shot, and then I got it again. So I got it
Yeah.
twice. The second time was worse.
Typically what I hear. Yeah.
So I went to go see my GI doctor a couple of weeks after I was feeling better and wasn't testing positive, but I still had some like long COVID effects. So he's like, listen, you're almost at the age where you need the colonoscopy. Let's do both, but I don't want to see you until you're 100%. Okay. He goes, come back and call me in like 2 weeks. Let me know how you feel. So now we're in July.
Uh-huh.
At the time, believe it or not, before I had the ulcer, I was prepping for a powerlifting competition. So then I stopped, and then I got better, and I continued prepping for it. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to get knocked out for this procedure. Like, just a follow up. I'll just wait till the competition's over. It was August 28th was the competition. So I called them. I said, listen, can we do it like end of August? I want to get through this competition. I was going to qualify for the Arnold, which I did. And then I'll do the procedure. Okay. So do the competition, qualify, whatever, go in, do the procedure. Go in, when I come out of anesthesia, he says, okay, colonoscopy,
As you're talking, I'm just gonna
good.
show a couple of pictures on Instagram. So you don't know I'm showing it, but I'm gonna show people what it was. So please proceed.
Okay. Sure. So he says colonoscopy looks good, everything's clear. It's like the endoscope though, where they cauterized the ulcer. I don't know if it's scar tissue, something doesn't look right, but we took a biopsy, we'll send it out, probably nothing. I'll call you in a couple of days. I'm standing in my kitchen talking to my wife. Phone rings, it's my GI doctor. Without even beating around the bush, he goes, Chris, you have cancer. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? No, I don't. I feel fine. He goes, Chris, you have cancer. It came back positive. You have cancer. Like, we got to get you in here, like, now. And I was just like, still, like, not understanding, because it's like, how do I have cancer? I don't look like I have cancer. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like I have cancer. You go into this weird like limbo state of consciousness,
Yeah.
because it's like you automatically think like, well, I know what cancer people look like, and I don't look like
Yeah.
that, so he
Mm-hmm.
must be wrong.
Yes.
you know, he wasn't wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So and basically what I'm trying to say is I was fine until that damn shot. So and just like my friend Nikki, who was fine
Mm-hmm.
before he had that shot, he gets the shot, and his health has been dog shit for years. He has seen every specialist you could think of, from a neurologist to gastro to you name it, and nobody can figure out what's wrong with him.
Yep.
So when you and I linked up, I said, listen, and he's also a big fan of yours too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually very jealous that I'm on the podcast right now.
Oh, I will have
So
him too. Yes. And
we'll get him on. Yeah,
if
yeah.
he has any questions at all, feel free to give him my contact, because I'm here to truly, like, I don't want people to just take a product and disappear. I want everyone to know that we're here. I want truly to talk to you now and talk to you in a year and in 2 years. We're not here to just try to get people to buy something. I want, this is what I want. I want people's stories. I want to follow people from day one to the next. Maybe somebody doesn't want to talk, and that's fine. But anyone who wants to, I want to be, or not just me, but all of us, I want to be what the doctors are not for people. I want to be here for them. I
Right.
want to try to help and answer questions and, truly be there on the good day and the bad day.
Right. Well, I'm going to talk to him tomorrow and see if he started it yet. And I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to tell him, like, listen, I'm already starting to
Mm-hmm.
feel better on it. So, yeah, so then I just start, right away. I go to MSK in the
Mm-hmm.
city, and I'm meeting all these surgeons and these doctors and these oncologists, and they're like, it's pretty aggressive what you have. Although it is localized, it is
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. It's your
Mm-hmm.
stage 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck me. And they're like, well, this is what we're going to do. This is the surgery,
Mm-hmm.
but we're going to start you on chemo. And let me tell you, I'll take 10 surgeries before I'll ever take chemotherapy again.
Oh, I
That
believe it.
was, and I went in at 232 pounds solid.
Yes.
And that shit destroyed me.
Yep.
I remember going into that chemo ward,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I'm looking around and I'm looking at all these people, and I'm like, half the people in here ain't even gonna make it.
No.
And I'm like, is that what I'm gonna look like?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't see a guy like me generally in a place like that.
Well,
And
doesn't that kind of make you also realize that maybe some of the people that are in there used to look like you? You don't know. Like,
well, that's it. That's
yeah,
why I was
yeah.
like, wait a minute, is this? Am I gonna turn into this? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way, I'm not living like this. Who's in a wheelchair? Who's on
Yeah.
oxygen? Who's in
Mm-hmm.
a walker? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, fuck this. And they blasted me with this stuff. They
So
hit you
let
with
me ask
as
you
much
this:
as you
how
can
does it
handle.
how does it work? Like, what I obviously I haven't had it done to myself. How does a session look like? What does it look like?
So all chemos cocktails are different.
Mm-hmm.
They had me on some experimental stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I sat there for usually between 5 and 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was five different drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Each combination of drug was like, this one was an hour, this one was an hour
Mm-hmm.
and a half, this one was a half
Yeah.
hour. And then they sent me home
Mm-hmm.
with a take-home chemo, which is
Okay.
this little ball that
Mm-hmm.
they strap to my side. Still have my port, and they hook up to the port, and it
Uh-huh.
runs for 24 hours. And that's supposed to do something with your white blood cells. I forget exactly what it was supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
And then this was on every other Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to do this, and then they give you a
Oh,
week off to recover, and then they
yeah.
hit you again, and a week off, hit you again.
And you said
Each
it's an hour or so, depending on.
No, it's like 5 hours.
Oh, 5 hours. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So they would give you one drug,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be an hour,
Mm,
and
I
then
got
they
it.
give you
Mm-hmm.
the second drug. That would maybe be 40 minutes. It
Oh.
all depends on how it gets administered. But generally, I was there between 5 and 6 hours every time, and then they strap the 24-hour drug to me, and then I'd go back on Saturday
Mm-hmm.
to get disconnected from that, and
Mm-hmm.
then they give you a shot, an immune shot in your arm
Mm-hmm.
to kind of, because at this point you have like no white blood cells.
Yes.
So that shot's supposed to ignite the white blood cells.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 4 sessions of that,
Uh-huh.
and it was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were days. I mean, I was shot for the whole weekend. I
Yeah.
couldn't move.
So what does it feel like
And I,
while you're getting the drug? Can you explain the feeling?
while you're getting it,
Mm-hmm.
so there was one drug called Oxyplatin, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that gives you the neuropathy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is as hardcore as it gets when it comes to chemo. That drug, they don't
Mm-hmm.
give that to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That one was brutal. Like
Mm-hmm.
that one, you get a metal taste in your mouth. That's the one that made you actually lose senses
Yeah.
and gives you neuropathy. And
Uh-huh.
each time you get that drug, the
Uh-huh.
side effects get worse. By my
Yeah.
4th session, and this
Mm-hmm.
was in the winter too,
Uh-huh.
I remember, and I was working through all this, and
Yeah.
nobody knew I was sick. I kept
Oh,
it quiet
wait,
for as
wow,
long as I could.
really? That's
Yeah, but at some
that's really
point, I
pretty
mean, I told
badass.
like my commissioner. I told like my commissioner and a couple of close people, like, listen, this is what's going on, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
By the 4th round of chemo, I did not look like a healthy person anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, my complexion was like gray. My
Ugh.
hair, not that I have hair anyway, but like I lost my eyebrows, I lost my facial hair, I lost everything. I had to come clean, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, listen, this is what's going on, and it was horrible. I mean, it was.
How
You
long did it
feel like
take
you're
until you started to look different, you think?
probably by the 2nd session is when it started getting noticeable. By the
So
4th,
just a few weeks, really?
I was. Yeah, it's fast.
Hmm.
You decompose pretty fast.
Yeah.
I was really only fooling myself. I can pass for being fine. But
Yeah.
people were kind of like, "You okay? Like, you don't look too good." Nah, I'm fine. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so that, then it got to the point where it was like, I can't work anymore. I got to go out
Yeah.
on disability.
So let me the
Uh,
video you have on your Instagram. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up again. Where you the one
mm,
you have pinned up there? How far in was that, you think? Oh yeah, you do look different than the
that's like
first to the
the,
next.
the one that zoomed in on my face.
Yeah, you are wearing the thing in the nose, and if feel like the
Oh,
first one you definitely
that
look a
was
little bigger than the
that was
second
like
one. You look really skinny.
that was like 2 days after surgery.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after the 4th round of chemo, I was, I think, 3 or 5 weeks, and then they did the surgery. It was February
Mm-hmm.
14th. I remember it was on
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me the surgery. And that was 2 or 3 days after the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And but how I looked there was pretty much how I looked after the 4th round of chemo.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't even look like. I mean, that looks like a person who's dying. Like, and that's
Yeah.
how I felt. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
I was dying. It was. I mean,
So
I
what do
was.
they do? So after you're done with all this chemo, what do the doctors do to help you get better?
Nothing. I had to go get my marijuana
So
card.
do they
That's the
just
only
kind of
thing that
send you
helped.
home and just like, good luck?
Here's this for nausea.
Mm-hmm.
Call us if it doesn't work. We'll see you February 14th. That was
Mm,
basically what it
wonderful.
was.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, I hadn't smoked marijuana in like 25 years. The second
You deserve it.
I got diagnosed,
Yeah.
I was called my doctor. I'm like, give me the card.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only thing that helped me with the
Yeah.
nausea, with just even dealing with just like day-to-day life, And
Yeah.
I have 2 young kids, and it's like I have to sort of be like there, but not. It
Mm-hmm.
was a very weird time in my life,
Yeah.
And
So during your medical treatments, the chemo and surgery and everything, what are they feeding you, or what did they tell you to eat? Did you
Um,
eat hospital food?
in the hospital? No. So what happened was, so after the surgery, hold on, I just gotta move and charge my
Mm-hmm.
phone. After the surgery, uh, when they did the esophagectomy,
Mm-hmm.
basically, I had to learn to eat again. I was in
Yeah.
a feeding tube.
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeding tube in my side,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I ate. It was basically this like protein concoction, and
Do you think
I
that
was on
protein
that.
concoction is good for you? What do you know what's in
Well,
it?
there was really, I don't remember. It
Mm.
was just like this white
Goo.
liquid that I
Yeah.
guess it was just a calorically dense,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
guess like a formula almost like a child would get.
Yeah. I'm very curious.
But
Actually, we
that's
can find out what's in it. So we work with a cancer doctor that is on board with
mhm,
us. We cannot say where she works for safety reasons, but let's just say
that
that
makes
she's
sense.
one of the best in the world. And
Okay.
they have been currently for a long time using Acemannan together with chemo so that people's immune system don't just die, you know? So that's how they use
Right.
it at the hospital, which is wonderful. But then we know, and she knows, and she has even done research in this and has proof that we could achieve incredible results without the chemo and the radiation and just Acemannan. So what she's trying to get in to the system right now is for doctors to, there might be rare occasions where radiation might be necessary. I'm not saying like it wouldn't be a case where it's so bad that maybe, but we have proof that it's not needed in most cases. And she's now trying to lay out the evidence in such way to show it so well that they just can't deny it, you know? So
Right.
as she started talking about this, they started investigating her because obviously that's
Of
not very
course.
popular. But again, hopefully with RFK and everything, we're hoping it's going to be easier. But let's just say that our goal is for, and I'm not saying we're going to go in and say, hey, hospitals, fuck you. You know, that's not, but we want them to start looking at it. And hopefully, actually,
Right.
let's say you come to the hospital and they look at you and they're like, you know what? We have this natural way or we have this medical way. Which one would you like? I mean, that would be the perfect scenario, right? That you have a choice in the
Right.
hospital to choose the natural way, because a lot of people probably will then. Or even, hey, would you like both combined? Whatever you want, whatever
Right.
floats your boat, you know? That should be how it should work. Like, here's the way where there are no side effects, and here's the way there are side effects, but not as bad as they used to be if we combine these things. What would you like to do, you know? Because
Right. Well, in fact,
there's no way that is a guarantee. If you're dying,
right.
the natural way or the medical way, like there's still always going to be a risk, right? That it doesn't work when there isn't enough time. But we have
Right.
waving along with my, we have stories of people that had like 3-4 days to live that have recovered. So I mean, we see
Right.
miracles, call it whatever you want. I don't even call it miracles anymore because that's just how it's supposed to be. But we see, I personally helped a person who had less than 2 weeks to live. And I mean, like, I didn't
Wow.
know what was going to happen, but it was like the doctor literally told this person on week 9 that it looked like he's never even been sick. He
That's
came
insane.
out of it better than he started before he got sick. So I
Right.
mean, we know, but obviously we're just hoping that the medical system is going to be, first of all, allowed to look at what we have. That's the first step, because even if there are a lot of doctors that are very curious that work with people that are on the product, and they will go, oh my God, like, what did you do? You recovered so fast and so well. What did you do? And they will be like, yeah, I'm using this. And they're like, wow, that is so interesting. Like, even my friend Joel, he got hit by a van the other week. We go to the hospital, go to the emergency room, and they obviously want to give him medications and a tetanus shot and whatever. And we just said, no, we don't need anything. Just make sure nothing is broken, and then we're going to leave. And then we told them about what we do, and they're like, oh my God, can you guys send us the information? This is so interesting. because they were like, yeah, you need
Right.
blood pressure medication. No, we have something called Betalains that actually regulate your blood pressure without side effects. They're like, what? And then we're like, yeah, and then we have Acemannan that speeds up your wound healing with 35% without side effects. They're like, what? These people don't even know, and I don't believe that they're not curious. Then the next part is, are they even allowed to utilize this or even tell people? That's obviously been the major problem, that they are not allowed to.
Well, if it's going to affect someone's bottom line,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to.
Well, again,
'Cause at the
hopefully,
end of the day,
things are
that's
going to
all they care
change.
about.
And while we keep
Yeah.
talking, I'm going to show people something else. So we have studies on specifically cancer and Acemannan, and we also have studies on Betalains and cancer. So here, as you see, in 2019, we won an award from the Cure Cancer Research Foundation for our immunotherapy research. So we've won awards like that long ago already. Like, this technology has been around for 30 years. And their goal here is obviously to be able to integrate what we have into the medical system, even though me personally would like people to just not use the medical system. But I mean, everyone to themselves. That's just my opinion. But that would be incredible if they would actually start using these kind of things. So that's the research. If somebody wants this research, I put it in the caption of the link. And here's the other research we have with all the different parts. So if somebody has, let's say, liver problems, you can read all the liver research here. You got autoimmune disease, you can read this. You got blood sugar problems such as diabetes, you can read this. You have neurological issues, you can read. There's a study on literally everything: thyroid, brain and gut, allergies, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. So anything people want to know, you can go in here and read. And this is actual public research. So if somebody clicks on a study we have, I think I've sent it to you, Chris, before. I'm just pulling it up. If somebody actually wants to go and read the public research, there are links in here. When you go there, do you guys see this is the government's website? It's not like we're making this shit up. It's not our personal. We have our own research within the company too, definitely. But the majority of the research is published research. It's not like it's hidden from anybody, but the only thing is that people don't even know to look for it. Like, you wouldn't even know it exists. Because if somebody publishes, if somebody's a established scientist and they have a research, they can publish this publicly. And anyone can read it, but you have to obviously know where to look for it. So we have currently, I don't know, we have over 700 peer studies and 30 years of research. They've even put in, I think, I don't know how many billions of dollars of research have been done on only Acemannan. This is only Acemannan. We have other molecules too, and this is only one of them.
Right. Well, I have my next follow-up is in February, I believe. And I'm going to bring this up to them.
Yeah, bring them actually the bottle too. They can look at it. And if they want to, you can send them the links to the research. I'm sure that as a doctor, if you see that the research is a public research on the freaking government, some of it is on the government's website, some of it is on other scientific websites, but they can go in and read the studies themselves. And actually, you said your TikTok had gotten banned before, right? Was this for sharing your story?
No. I just was able to go live this week. I wanted to. I don't know exactly how the live stuff works. So I started the last 2 days saying that, hey, I'm doing a podcast with Maaxx West, and it's about this new holistic medication that I started taking, and I'm hoping that it helps. And I gave my backstory about how I'm on this other medication, doesn't seem to be working, and I wanna try to educate people on there are other alternatives to being a slave to medications. And that's kind of like I said, 2 days ago is when it started clicking in my brain. It's like, maybe that's why I'm starting to get this rejuvenation almost.
I'm so excited for you.
It's the only thing I've been doing different, so that's why I said it can't be the placebo effect, because it hasn't been really in my head. It's like I have all my pills I take every morning, and I just added that one. It
Hmm.
wasn't like, oh my God, today's the day I'm gonna feel it. I just like, boop, take it, take it, take it,
It
and it
creeps up
just
on
kind
you.
of was like a, yeah,
My
exactly.
yeah,
It just started
my
creeping up on
sister.
me.
I had my sister on it, and I have actually her whole story published. It's in Swedish though with subtitles. People can go watch it. But so she was on it, and she kind of didn't think that it worked. So she took it for some time, actually a few months, and then she stopped, and that's when she truly realized what it had done for her. Because she's been having so much pain everywhere. So she didn't even realize that some of this pain was gone because she was still having, other issues. And then, so she has carpal tunnel syndrome in her hands and a lot of pain. And sometimes the hands don't work and you can't pick things up and, a lot of stuff. And then she stopped taking it and realized that all the pain in her hands had been gone. And now when she stopped, like a week after, it started to come back again. And she was sitting at work and realized that, how much her hands hurt. And she's like, wait a second, they have not been hurting in so long. And she didn't even, because same, you can't really pinpoint what it's doing. Don't, it's not like a sudden thing one day that boom, like that. It just kind of creeps up. And
Right.
I was the same. I just went to the gym one day and realized that my hands didn't give up because I used to have really bad itis in my hands, right? So I would train, and when the hands would start to ache so much, I would stop, right? So I would do like hanging leg raises, and now my hands are like, no, no, girl, you're done. So then I would stop, and I'm just keep going, and I realized that I trained until my muscles were tired, like my abs were done, not my hands. And I was like, wow, did I just do that? you know? So
Right,
yeah,
right.
it definitely just kind of creeps up on you. And now I said, almost a year in, I'm like, I still some days would just walk around and just I'm just like, I can still not believe how good my knees feel. Like my knees were
Yeah.
hurting for like 15 years or maybe more. And I was like, I can just feel how it doesn't hurt anymore. And I was like, this is just incredible. you know?
Right. Well, I see now the next stage now. So I have just from like the years and years of abusing my body,
Mm-hmm.
my elbows are my worst joints. Like my
Yeah.
knees are fine, it's my
Mm.
elbows. I get Sarapin injections. I don't know if you're familiar with
Ooh,
that.
let's get you off of that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for years because it's the only thing that really helped.
hmm
So
I
now
was
I'm,
a
I'm
slave to
curious to
peptides.
see.
Well, I would
Right.
say
So
specifically for inflammation. So we have the Acemannan and then the Betalains, which are our two most popular molecules. So Acemannan does help inflammation, but Betalains is specifically for inflammation. So what it does is it reduces cellular inflammation by approximately 47%, and we're technically not supposed to say 90 minutes, so we say 9 days.
okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I would take 27% because my elbows
Yeah.
on a good day, the pain's like an 8.
I think you could
Like
do a
it's
half a
bad.
serving of the Betalains too. Maybe you should just. How about you just do keep doing a half a serving Acemannan and a half a serving Betalains. That can be your add-on for now. And just because
Okay.
I'm just curious to see how much she does when you don't even take a full serving. I had a friend. She's
Right, right, right.
60. She's 63 years old. Had really bad joint discomfort everywhere. And she texted me one day. I'm gonna say it was about 30 days in, and she's like, "Max, my joints don't hurt." And then again, she's coming on a live stream we're doing, and she's like, wait a second, I've only been doing half a serving. And I was like, and you
Yeah.
still get rid of the joint discomfort? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But obviously my main focus is the gut issues. Like the joint
Yes.
pain I've been dealing
Mm-hmm.
with for forever. It's like a
Yeah.
part of me now.
We're just
So
gonna
I
get
don't
rid of
even
everything.
really, yeah. So, but yeah, like so far so good. I mean, I'm happy that I'm starting to like turn the corner now, and hopefully this this stuff is going to be in a rearview mirror one
Yeah.
day.
And it has, this is a little bit of hush hush, but obviously, as a person that got the jab, but also as a person that didn't, we're all probably dealing with spiked proteins because there is such thing as vaccine shedding. We have an entire interview with a vaccine shed doctor, Dr. Shannon, talking about this. She got shedded on and got really sick, and she didn't even get it. So spiked proteins are probably going on everywhere. We do have non-published, not yet okay to talk about benefits on spiked proteins. I don't
Yeah,
remember
were
if I sent
you
it to you, but
when we spoke on the phone initially, you had mentioned that shedding thing, and
Mhm.
I remember hearing about that
Mhm.
during COVID.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, it's misinformation. It's
Mm.
not real. It's not true. And obviously it is.
Yes, but this
You
is
know,
not
when
just
you fast
this jab.
forward.
This goes for all vaccines. All vaccines that exist. So Dr. Shannon has been working with vaccine shedding research for, I don't know how long she's been doing this. Probably 10, 20 years. I don't know, a long time. And even before
Right.
COVID hit, she had already been, talking about vaccine shedding. So when this happened, that was just this is not news. This has always been known. It doesn't even matter if you get a flu shot, you could still shed on somebody because you're putting basically virus into your body. So when you go and get a shot, you're injecting yourself with the thing you don't want to get. So it's very common that people get a shot and then they get a little sick right after the shot because you're technically what it's supposed to do is get your body used to the virus, right? So the fact if you go get a shot and then you get a little sick, that's very common. So like why now you're sick. So how couldn't you now make somebody else sick? Of course you can. Like if you just have a cold and you come sneeze on me, like you could get me sick, right? So why this is basically the same thing. So I don't even know why wouldn't people believe that? You weren't sick and now you technically are.
Right. And then I remember, and people have short memories with this shit,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember them saying, oh, if you're not vaccinated, but you're around
Mm-hmm.
or don't avoid vaccinated people if
Yes,
you're unvaccinated. I said, wait a minute,
100%.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Shouldn't both unvaccinated people not be near each other? Why would you have to avoid the vaccinated person?
Right.
Like it never made sense, and now that's
Yeah.
why.
And then as far as her research shows, the COVID vaccine specifically shedded for up to 140 days, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, she has research. If somebody doesn't
Shit.
believe it, just please go check her out. Dr. Shannon, she is probably the only person I have ever met that got banned by X. Like, you're not even supposed to be able to get banned by X. Yes. Like, she does good work, let's just say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's crazy. So what? So either way, I don't want to take all the credit here. So after you had cancer and everything, what did you do to get better? Because you did a lot of work, obviously, through just good lifestyle and food and everything. Like, what are some things that you did?
Believe it or not, I did everything the doctors told me not to do.
Good boy.
They told me so the day I had the feeding tube taken out, they said so even with the feeding tube in, they told me like you are not to lift anything heavier than 5 pounds.
Oh, of course.
Now, and the only reason why I didn't is because I didn't have the energy to do it.
Yeah.
But I walked around with my little bag and my tube, and I came into the gym and I just did whatever I could. The day they pulled the feeding tube out, they said, okay. And they knew how I was at this point. They're like, we don't want you working out for another 3 months. Now, at this point, I'm already like 5 months out. You want me to do 3 more months? I said, yeah, no problem. I drove myself home, went right into the gym.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
I think I think what people fail to like understand too is if you have never trained in your entire life, maybe that's not the day to start. But if you have always been training, I had a herniated disc about a 1.5 year ago. And if I would have gone to a regular doctor, I never go to a doctor. They would have told me to probably not do anything like that. But I have an incredible friend who is my rehab person. I call him the rehab guru. He's technically a chiropractor, you could say, but I got in and he gives me the rehab exercises and then he gives me 2 45-pound plates. And I was like, this is kind of heavy. He's like, girl, you don't truly believe that you're going to recover through a 1 pound dumbbell. He's like, you're a professional athlete. it's not going to cut it. And I was like, you know what? Good point. It took 5 days for me with him to have my herniated disc gone back. Basically, it's like soft shit falling out of the hard shit, basically. And obviously, so I did sessions with him. And then on top of that, I did my rehab exercises at home without weight also about 30 times a day. He told me every time it hurts, do them. I'm like, it hurts all day, so do it all day, he said. And I did. And 5 days later, I was perfectly fine. And people think I'm lying. So I was like, I even did a live with him. I'm like, can you please confirm what was going on with me? Oh, and she's like, oh, she was really bad. And people are like, no, that it must have been a lie. You didn't have that. No, I just did the work.
Right. There's a woman, she's a doctor out there. I gotta try and find it. And she's on a podcast. She's a doctor. And she's on a podcast, and she asked the guy running the podcast, and she goes, what do you think the number one contributing factor of people recovering from cancer, irrespective, and that's the word she used, of the type of cancer, the stage of the cancer, or the person it's in? And the guy goes, what? And she goes, muscle mass.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I try, and I tell people, and they oh, you're crazy, you train so much.
Why wouldn't it be?
I go, no. Right. I go, no, crazy is the person that doesn't get sick, falls down, breaks a hip, and they're never the same again.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that internal medicine being muscle.
Yeah. I mean, people don't have to be crazy like us, but I'm even so my mom has been in this kind of bad spiral of getting, like, she used to train. My mom used to do boxing and all kinds of stuff. Like, I remember my mom with her freaking massive biceps, and then she got sick and kind of got trapped in the system, right? And then medication. And then she's at the point now where she's hurting a lot, but she can't really train because she hasn't in so long. She knows she needs to, but you kind of just get trapped in the spiral, right? And now it's like, where do you even start? So what I suggest for anybody that's listening, if you are at a point where like you're not going to go to the gym, you can't do it. If you do it, you probably break. Get a vibration plate, please. Just buy a vibration plate. Stand on it 10 minutes a day. If you are so bad that you can't stand, sit on a chair and put your feet on it. That's where I started my mom. And she actually only in the first week went from sitting on the chair to standing. And now I'm like, do it every day because it starts to build, it strengthens your bones and starts building your muscle mass. And if anybody hasn't seen the documentary with Skunk Phil, I'm going to pull it up. So he was at the point where Joel first met him. He couldn't train. Like, he couldn't do anything at all. He put him on Acemannan Betalains and gave him a vibration plate. And he said, stand on this thing 10 minutes a day. And it didn't take very long for him to do 50 push-ups on it. Hold on. So I'm going to show where people find this. So if you go to YouTube, here.
How long have you been on the product line?
Oh, this is very loud. There we go. If you go to, it's on King Bao's channel. It's called Skunk Phil, A Story That Could Change the World. So this is his entire story from day one when he was dying to what he is now 2 years later. And again, when he started, he was so sick. Like, he met him and he gave him a little weed and he took a hit and he shit himself. Like, his entire body, nothing in his body worked. His hands didn't work, his feet didn't work. He was falling apart. Like, he was 30 years drug addict, just abused himself to the point where he had to go to chiropractors and doctors and stuff every week and was on, I don't know how much medication. And now completely off. He's like, I mean, he looks incredible. And he's like, I don't even know if I can do 50 push-ups. Like, so vibration plates, that's how he started, because he wasn't in shape to go to a gym. Like, you can't just go from, if you were training already, maybe we can do that. We can go out of surgery and go to the gym, but everybody can't do that. So get the damn vibration plate, start somewhere, because you can put your damn feet on that 10 minutes a day. Anyone can do that, no matter how bad you are. I also posted a video on my Instagram yesterday about this friend of mine who is a fitness person, started Acemannan, felt really good, gave it to his 81-year-old dad who had COVID and got really, really bad after bronchitis, shortness of breath, scarring on his lungs, everything. This man is now 81 years old and goes to the gym 3 days a week and walks a mile, which he told me he didn't even do before he got sick.
Oh wow.
And I mean, this is an
Okay.
81-year-old man. And so don't think it's too late for you. It's never too late. You just have to ease into it. And I have a vibration plate myself. I use it so when I train
Me too.
MMA, because we train a lot sometimes, right? Like in the beginning, I would train like 6 hours. Of course, I'm going to feel it. Then I will go and stand on the vibration plate and it just loosens up everything and just makes me feel incredible. So those things are for everybody. Frequency heals.
I love those plates.
Yeah.
You know, I had one for the longest time. And I never used it.
Yeah.
But I use it now daily.
Yes.
And it helps.
Right?
It helps with, because also it was one other thing I meant to tell you. So when they reshaped my stomach and it healed in this weird shape.
Oh,
So
yeah?
sometimes I get these gas pockets where food sits.
So you fart a lot?
Starting with the vibration plate. No, it's not that kind
No,
of
I'm
gas.
just kidding.
Oh, I wish it was that kind
Yeah.
of gas. It is like a pain. I can't imagine childbirth being more painful than the pain I get.
Oh.
So I started using the vibration plate, and it like settles all the food down in my stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad, Max. Oh my God. It like puts me in a fetal position for hours.
Oh.
Last year,
I used to get that
had to go to
actually
the-
too. I used to get that. I was allergic to like 70 different foods for a while in a part of my life. And it would happen all the time. Even when I was careful, if I would eat something and it was like traces of something, especially ginger. Ginger would put me in that fetal position for hours and I could barely breathe. It hurt so bad.
yeah, that's it. You can't even breathe. I
Yep.
had to get rushed to the ER last year because the pain was so bad, and they had to put me on a morphine drip
Yep.
till it passed.
Actually, I got it from birth control pills too. That in the past, I stopped birth control pills when I was about 18, and because of that, same thing. I was hurting so much that I couldn't even walk or anything. And as soon as I stopped taking them, it went away.
Right. Yeah, so the vibration plate really helps in my digestion. So I do it. Sometimes I do it twice a day. I'll do it in the morning, and
Yes.
I'll do it before I go to bed.
Same. I love it. I can't wait for
Yeah.
especially I said again, we don't make any guarantees of what the food technology does for people. All we know is it does for people. So I'm very, very, very excited to hear more from you later, especially since it's gut and everything. And
Yeah.
time will tell.
Hell yeah. Oh man. All right, I could talk to you for hours, but
Yeah, I
got
know.
a
I'm
long
gonna
training day
show
tomorrow.
everybody your page again here before we go. So I'm sharing it. This is him, Iron Misfits Training. Oh, actually, I wanted to say too. So we got connected. He has a poster of me in the back of the gym there, and which I
Right there.
appreciate very much. We got connected years back when you just had gotten cancer, right? And back then I didn't even know of the food technology. It was before that. I remember we spoke. I shared his information, and again, I said I wish I would have known about it back then, but I think everything happens for a reason, and you're here now to be able to help other people and share the story, and I appreciate you very much.
100%. Same here, Max.
And I will have you back soon again.
Definitely. I'm gonna text you during the week.
Perfect. Love it.
Thanks, Max.
Bye. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye-bye. No problem. Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna jump off very soon too. I love these stories. So you saw I had two different people with two different stories. Both of them, Chris has been on the Acemannan for only 2 weeks and felt great things. Megan has been on it for 3 months and her hips are now fully moving as they should. She's still not fully, she had a lot of other things going on as well. So she's still experiencing some detox symptoms, which what you can do. So whatever you have built up inside your body, the molecules are helping your body basically. It finds the shit that is going on inside of you and basically like grabs it and pushes it out somewhere. That's why some people are, let's say that you have really bad eczema. I'm just making, doing an example. Let's say you have really bad eczema of some sort. It might actually flare up when you start taking it because it's your body saying, oh, look what's going on here. This person has eczema. Let's start pushing that out. And you detox it. So it's going to come out of you and then it's going to decrease. That's basically what happens. It doesn't mean that everybody experiences detox symptoms. Some people don't have any at all. So it's very individual. There is no rule for how your body works. Your body's very, very smart. It does incredible things. I can't tell you guys how long it will take before you feel it. Some people feel it in the first day. Some people, it might take 30 days. For myself, the major change was 2 months for me, even though my hormones actually regulated after my second week, which was incredible. I didn't get any ovulation cramp or swelling, which was wonderful. But my actual joint discomfort took about 2 months to go away. So again, everyone, it's individual for everybody. We do say give it 90 days because in 90 days, you will for sure have results. And before I go, I want to play a little video that, hold on, let me see. How can I do this now? I have to pull it up on my computer. I also want to show you guys what happened to me. I will show this again. What happened to me when I went to Atlantic City. So you guys see what I look like now. My face looks good. And this is what happened to me when I went to Atlantic City. Look at this. I went there and this flared up like I don't even know what. So Atlantic City is where all of these alien stuff is going on, and I think they're spraying some weird shit in the air, so my eyes got itchy. And I've been to Atlantic City, this competition I shot there. I've been there every year for many years, and this has never happened before. Luckily though, came back home and he went away. So yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. If any of you guys are there or have been there, have you seen any UFOs? I hope you guys don't actually believe that that's what they are. Don't get fooled. Wait, did I, no, I have it in here somewhere. Hold on, let me play. I'm gonna play 2 incredible videos. I am going to play 2 incredible videos. Oh, I didn't put it on here. Darn it! I will find it on Instagram. I haven't yet, dropped. I do some editing on my phone sometimes. I haven't yet dropped everything on my computer. Okay, here we go. So this is a great story. That
my skin
let me just do it again.
I was having acne issues, bad acne issues. My skin is clear. I feel good. My training, I no longer take as much coffee. I no longer drink pre-workout. Everything is just moving so well from my digestive system to my mind. I come from a family who took pills and drank alcohol, and I wanted to make sure that I grew up as healthy as possible. Aloe vera products I've been using for now 4 months. Immune and Limitless has grown my hair. My hair was like brittle because I dyed it so many times. I grew, I would say, about 4 inches in 4 months. And my hair is long, luscious, healthy. It's never felt so great. Focus is the one that I use as my pre-workout because I don't get any jitters. It helps me focus more. And I also realize that it gives me a burst of energy and it allows me to think clearer throughout my days. Fix, I love. I'm not a woman who sleeps because I own multiple businesses. It's very hard to turn my brain off. The Focus allows me to focus on one thing at a time. I'm very scattered brain. And then at the end of the night, when I'm ready to turn the brain off, I take Fix. Calm my nervous system down, heal while I'm sleeping, and it actually puts me to bed. I used to take all kinds of like gummies to go to bed, and I don't do that anymore. I am actually at WBFF Atlantic City. I have 7 clients stepping on stage. I gave all of them Fix because it could be very nerve-wracking to be here. It not only calms them down, but puts them to bed. This is what I'm looking forward to using. So this is the Core Advanced Gut Health Complex. Prebiotics, fiber, collagen, Limitless, and Immune, all in one. I was having acne issues, bad acne.
Okay, so that's one of the stories. I have a whole bunch of them actually coming. I posted a few. I also posted one with, actually, I'm going to show this one too, because this is a COVID one, which kind of fits into what we've been talking about here. So
unfortunately, during the COVID pandemic, my dad fell rather ill. A friend reached out. He had scarring on his lungs. He'd been reliant on an inhaler. Once he started this product, he came off the inhaler. He reached out and said, you need to try this.
You have what we call COVID asthma, COVID pneumonia, scarring on your lungs from COVID. After taking the Acemannan, I haven't hit an inhaler in like 8 days. I can breathe. I also haven't been able to smell for 2 years. The other day, I get my sense of smell back, so I can smell again.
Before getting dead onto these supplements, he would have low days where he would have shortness of breath, sleeping a lot, and probably depression as well. Ended up having a pacemaker fitted. He has scarring on his lungs from bronchitis as a child, which wasn't quite treated right. I got him on a month after myself because I noticed the changes really quick. Now he has got his twinkle back. Big, happy-go-lucky guy, and he has that sparkle about him again, which I haven't seen for the last 2 years. He's now currently going to the gym 3 times a week. He doesn't have shortness of breath. He just had a check-in with his doctor and his lungs have actually improved a little bit. He is 81. From 12 months to this day, complete different person. It's wonderful to see when it's your parents. We live on a big hill. He struggled to walk just to the top half of the hill. Now he is walking over a mile, no problem. And he never walked a mile before. So the fact that now that he's doing it, it's phenomenal. Unfortunately, during the COVID pandemic, my dad fell rather ill.
Okay, let's see here. Excuse me, I'm multitasking on my phone. Yeah, so Chris just asked, where's the replay? All my replays are always on Rumble. If you guys want to rewatch, I also edit little reels out of everything I do. So they will be coming on my Instagram and all the other pages as well. And everyone who is watching on Instagram, do remember that Rumble or X or Facebook or YouTube would be the better place to watch, because when I have guests, they kind of cut the screen. And you're also able to comment on the live on any platform except Instagram, because if you comment there, I'm not necessarily going to see them unless I actually go to Instagram, which I don't do a lot while I'm on the live stream. So these stories are really incredible. I'm also going to show you guys where you can find them. So I'm going to show you. First of all, if you want research, hit me up. We got cancer research. We got research with basically any health condition. So let's say that you have diabetes. I will share with you blood sugar research. Let's say you have thyroid problems. We got that. Neurological, anything with the brain, really, brain and gut. Allergies, absorption. You tell me what you would like to see. When I do that, prebiotics, we got bone health. This is very big. We had a man with bone marrow cancer that his body wasn't producing blood. Gave it to him. His body started producing blood again. Dental is really good for that. It's collagen. We got skin support, metabolism, kidney, anything you would like to read, just hit me up and I can send it to you. And if you do want to try this out, you can go to, so it's savekidswithmaxx.myelevate.com, or even easier, I got my nobloatclub.com. This is my own personal website. If anyone's interested in working with me as a coach, I got it here. But I also have here, this is the Acemannan, Reduce Cellular Inflammation, Pump Your Body Full of Stem Cells, and DH. If you click here, it will link you over to the page where you can actually find them. And we donate to children. This is what this counter is here. This is how many servings we have donated to children. The serving count is actually higher than what this is, because in the beginning of this company's life, this was a charity organization only, and they had already donated a lot before it went over to what it is today, where you guys can also actually take advantage of the products, because in the beginning it was only being donated to children, which is wonderful and which is what we still do. So every time you guys buy a product, we donate the same amount to children all over the world. And I actually have on my website, if you scroll down, in February I got to go meet the kids. They're super freaking cute. We have about 90 countries right now that we donate to, both orphanages, community centers, and hospitals. And I got to meet the kids in Mexico, even though we have a lot more countries as well. And it's just wonderful. We want to eradicate childhood malnutrition. And also, so you guys know, a lot of these kids that get rescued and put into these places have been saved out of trafficking. So you are also doing good for that cause, which I think is probably the most special thing for me personally. So when you go to the website, show you guys here what you want to, you guys are welcome to use whatever you want, obviously, but what we are talking about all the time is this product, which is Acemannan only, basically. And then we often talk about this one. I don't want to say the names, I don't know if it really matters, but this one has the betalains. It has a little bit of Acemannan in it as well, but it's a lot of betalain, which comes from the sugar beet, and we have a technology where we can extract the molecule away from the sugar molecule, because betalains, or beets in general, are anti-inflammatory, but sugar is inflammatory, so it kind of contradicts itself, right? So we extract the betalain, take away the sugar, so you only get healing molecule and nothing else. So these two are great. I also highly suggest Balance, which regulates your hormones, both female and male. It regulates them. It doesn't do a specific thing. So let's say that you, for example, have low testosterone, just making something up. It doesn't put testosterone into you. It regulates your levels. And that's why I recommend this over trying to inject hormones, because when you inject hormones into your body thinks it doesn't need to produce it anymore, and it stops producing it, which is not very good. So what they often don't tell you, let's say you go to the doctor or whatever, and they give you hormones, and then they don't tell you that when you stop, now your body doesn't produce it anymore. So you're going to feel very, very bad. You're actually going to feel worse than you did when you when you first started, which isn't very good. While the product we have from wild yams, the molecule is called diosgenin. It regulates your hormones. So it doesn't take away or add in any, like, it just regulates them. So you're going to feel incredible, especially as a woman. PMS and cycle stuff, you're not going to be very PMSy, let's just say that. A lot of men love to get this for their ladies, but it's also beneficial for men. If you guys have any questions, you can hit me up. If you do end up getting something off the site, you can use the code Maaxx10 to get an extra discount. But if you go to savekidswithmax.myelevate.com, you're automatically getting 10 to 20% off depending on how much you buy. So you are always getting a discount. I'm going to jump off. Tomorrow, I actually have a live as well. I'm going to play this little promo I made for it because it's going to be freaking dope. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it while the live thing is on. Maybe it doesn't let me do that. That's kind of annoying, actually. Okay, never mind. So tomorrow, we are going to talk about Christmas. We are going to show you guys a lot of content, proof, footage about why we celebrate Christmas and what it actually comes from. I don't celebrate Christmas. I haven't celebrated it since I was very young. And I didn't know back then why I didn't want to celebrate it. I surely know now, because I think I've always been very spiritual and sensing energy even before I knew I was. And I certainly do not want to celebrate this holiday. Let's just say that. When you guys watch tomorrow lives, I want to warn you in advance that after you see the live tomorrow, you might not want to celebrate it either. So if you want to have a good Christmas and not know why or what it's coming from, don't come on tomorrow's live, because it might scar you. But it needs to be shared, it needs to be told, it needs to be shown, because I think everyone has the right to know. I'm going to tap out. I love you all. And go get some crystals. I have crystals everywhere now. It's probably my favorite. And if you guys have any questions, please hit me up, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Mwah.